Welcome back to part 6 of the Platinum Refining Stockpot 4 series of videos. You'll recall in part 5 we precipitated the gold as much as we could out of our Platinum Group solution. Then I transferred our Platinum Group solution into a clean beaker, put it up on the heat to drive off the SO2 gas and to concentrate and evaporate that solution. So we'll pick up with part 6 right here.
This is our solution. I've evaporated it down by more than half. And if you look in here, we've got some kind of salt forming in the bottom. Kind of something come out of solution there as we concentrated it. So we may need to dilute this back with a little bit of hydrochloric acid. I've got hydrochloric acid here. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of hydrochloric acid. I'm going to try to rehydrate this a little bit to get those crystals to dissolve. What I'm going to do now is transfer the solution into a clean beaker. The crystals, solids are still in there. I don't know what that is, but we're going to get this liquid poured off into a separate beaker. And here's what's left in the bottom of our beaker. I've seen this happen when I try to evaporate down a platinum solution. End up with this salt, not sure what it is. There's a little drip here on the end of our beaker. Let's get this solution onto a piece of filter or a piece of paper towel here. What I'm going to do, add some stannous and see what happens. That's looking like green to me, which indicates palladium in solution. Looks like this stuff doesn't like to dissolve, so I'll add a little bit of hydrochloric acid to this now. Straight hydrochloric acid. Boom. Now what we'll do is cover this up and see if we can redissolve this on some heat. While I wait for this to heat up and go back in solution, hopefully, what I'm going to do is I've got a flask over here. This is our flask that had a little bit of precious metals remaining in it. I've added some hydrochloric acid. I put the heat down here on low, and so now what we're going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of nitric acid, and we're going to try to get this stuff to go into solution. Add it back to the stock pot. I'm going to do that with all the little bits of material I have left in the bottom of these beakers. It's just no use trying to recover it and capture it and refine it. Put it right back in the stock pot. Look at that stannous test that we just did here a few minutes ago. It's bright green. That's an indication we've got palladium in our solution down here. I've got the platinum and gold that's in here, a little bit of platinum and gold in solution. We're going to add it to this beaker now. It's got a little bit of platinum and gold in it down at the bottom down here. The reason we don't want to add this solution to our main solution is because this is still going to have gold in it. Rinse this out with a little bit of hydrochloric acid. is our third container that had a little bit of precious metals in it. And what I'll do is add the metal that's in here. I hate working with platinum. I hate it. It's dangerous. I'm exposing myself to these fumes. And I'm really not a platinum refiner, but I'm doing this just to create content for my YouTube channel. I'll cover this up. There's a little bit of gold down in the bottom of there. Not much. It's almost all gone into solution. And we'll put this up on the heat now and let this dissolve completely. Here's our stock pot. It's full of copper. And I'm adding this solution back here into this stock pot carefully. And the copper in here will cement those metals back out of that solution that I'm dumping in right now. I'm just going to rinse it with water. And we'll recover it later. I keep this covered and I keep it outdoors, so let me move it out of the way. I had this up boiling in hydrochloric acid for 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. Let's pour off the solution into this big beaker so we can proceed. Still some salt in the bottom there. I can't get that out of there. I don't know what it is. What we're going to do is just rinse it the best we can with hydrochloric acid, and then I have to deal with that salt later. I don't know what it is, but it's not going to go into solution with the hydrochloric acid. Now what we're going to do is set up a filter and filter any junk that we may have out of our platinum solution. We use a little bit of hydrochloric acid here to dampen our filter, get it to seal up. Now we'll go ahead and filter any trash out of this before we go to the next step. Yeah, there's junk down on the bottom of the beaker down there, so let's filter this out. Something came out of solution down in there. Wow. 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 Here's a look at the stuff that's down in the bottom of this beaker. It does not look like metal. It's probably formed from the compounds that we have been experimenting with up to this point. I'm not going to try to redissolve it. Instead, what I think we'll do is I've got a bottle that I converted to hydrochloric acid instead of water, and what we're going to do is rinse this solution out of our beaker with the hydrochloric acid down into this filter. This hydrochloric acid in this bottle. Don't want to use water with this solution. It forms some strange compounds that create problems for us. The little black streak down on the bottom of the beaker, that does look like metal, so something has come out of solution. Don't know what. Here's what's in our funnel. Not sure what that is. I'm not going to take the chance of rinsing it down into our main solution. So what we'll do is get this funnel out of the way, and now we'll transfer our solution to a clean beaker. Now there you can see there's some more of the compound that's in there with our solution. Probably ammonium chloride, since I added so much saturated ammonium chloride to this. Alright, let's put some stannous on here. Should be about the same as the previous stannous tests. Dark stain, I see purple. No, rather green, orange. So we got platinum and palladium in solution here. I'm going to put our funnel back up here on our flask. Reconnect the vacuum line. Now I've got some hydrochloric acid in our bottle here, and I'll use this to rinse whatever remaining precious metals are in this filter down into the flask. What I'll do now is we're going to cement the metals back out of this solution on a piece of zinc. I'm going to try to separate the metal from whatever compound we have forming in here. Here we go. I'm going to put a piece of zinc in here now and start cementing the platinum group metals out of this solution. That piece of zinc dissolved in less than a minute. Got a thicker piece we're going to put down in here now. If you look in the filter, I see a rose color, a pink color up in here. So this may be a little bit of rhodium in here. And then down here in the solution that we just cemented on zinc, we cemented out the platinum group metals on a piece of zinc. And it appears to be a little bit of a rose color. So there's probably a little bit of rhodium left in that solution as well, or suspended in it. Here's a solution from a previous reaction. It's got a little bit of platinum group metals in it. There's a little piece of zinc in there also. And what we'll do now is reach in here with some tweezers. See if I can pull this zinc out of here. And we're going to transfer it into this beaker out of the way. gets cemented back out with zinc. It's not very much, but this is all we have to work with now. Every time we do one of these processes, we lose a little bit of metal. Every time we handle it, every time we filter it, every time we precipitate, every time we cement it out on zinc, we lose a little bit of metal every time we do that. And if you notice here, you see some pink color from our Stannis test. That tells me we've got rhodium in these solutions. It's just 3-Tips does not know how to get it out of there yet, so we're going to be putting all these waste solutions that contain the rhodium back in our stock pot. Just keep cementing them out over and over until we learn how to get the stuff. Let's get this funnel off of here and out of the way. Took this, set it up out of the way back here. And now what we'll do is I'm going to bring up the stock pot, because I need to get this solution off of here. Otherwise this material is going to want to try to go back in solution. That pretty rose color. I'm going to add this right into the stock pot. Here we go. Ouch, it's hot. Let me get the tweezers. Left down at the bottom of the beaker. This metal with some distilled water so it doesn't try to redissolve. Now we'll bring the stock pot back into the fume hood and empty out this stuff out of this flask into here. It's going to have precious metals in it. Add the filter. It's going to have rhodium on it, I think. And we'll rinse this out real good with some hydrochloric acid down into the stock pot. Here's a solution that we got out way back in part 1 or 2. I think it's got rhodium in it as well. And since I do not know how to get the rhodium, I'm just going to add it right back into the stock pot, cement everything back out on the copper that's in there. Rinse it out with hydrochloric acid. Put it all back in the stock pot. Here's our material sitting in distilled water. And what we're going to do is pour this off now. Carefully. Looks like pepper in water down in there. It's got some other material in with it, it looks like. And now what we'll do, I'm going to add a little bit of distilled water. And then we're going to pour in an equal amount of hydrochloric acid. And we're going to check for the presence of any residual zinc in here. If there's zinc, it'll start bubbling and fizzing. Alright, a little bit of the metal is suspending in there. I'm going to pour off this dilute hydrochloric acid rinse. A little bit of the metal's getting poured off here. Every time we do one of these rinses, we lose a little bit of our metal. Alright, this is straight hydrochloric acid here. I don't see any evidence of reaction with zinc in there, so I think we've pretty much got all the zinc out of here. Pour this off now. Again, a little bit of the metal is going to get poured off with this rinse. And that stuff does not look very clean to me. Here we go. We're going to make a command decision here. Instead of proceeding, trying to refine this little bit of material here, what I'm going to do is just melt this up into a button now. Get it into a melt dish. I mean, when you're so far behind like this, and the metal's just dwindling away as I work on it. Just doesn't make sense to keep going here. I admit defeat. What we'll do is try to get the water out of here. And let's see if we can melt us up a little button of this material that we've recovered out of the stock pot. Okay, here's our material. And I'm going to set it down here on the melt table. I'm going to start the melt. I'm going in to put my mask on because I don't know what kind of fumes are going to come out of here. Here's our two little buttons of metal. The one on the right over here is a nice bright shiny button of pure platinum. This came from the platinum refining practice video I did several years ago. And I'll put a link to that video in this video so you can watch that. So what we'll do is we'll put this up and offer this for sale on my eBay site. See what the weight is on this. Looks like we got 6.4 grams of pure platinum. And this should be 3/9 platinum. It came from that pure platinum coin. Okay, as for this little button of metal, this came from the stock pot. And it's not enough material there to continue on and do a complete refining. And so I just melted this up into a button. And what we'll do is we'll send this into the big refiner and get them to do an analysis on it. And we'll give a report back on what that button contains. Look at that, it's only 3.9 grams. It's almost identical in size to this one. In fact, it might be a little bit bigger. So this has got our pure platinum in it. 6.4 grams. And this little button right here, same size or maybe just a touch bigger, is only 3.9 grams. So what we'll do is, like I said, we'll send this one in and get an analysis, and then I'll do a short video on what's in this, and we'll offer this one for sale on my eBay site. This will conclude part 6 of the Platinum Refining Stock Pot 4, video number 6. Thanks for watching.